Hey guys, how are you? Andy, super founder, CEO, YGK Credit Solutions. Today's topic is about the post that we did a couple days ago. I believe we did that post on Monday, how everyone could be a bank. So I wanted to explain that post and what I meant by that and how everyone can be their own bank. Now, before I get into the topic and how you're going to be your own bank, obviously it's being done through real estate properties that you own. But the first property may not be able to make you become your first bank. But as you build your portfolio off of your first property, then you can start becoming your own bank. And becoming your own bank is actually very beneficial for you, because you're kind of using your own, you're actually using your own money, not kind of. You are using your own money at a cheaper rate than if you was to go buy, let's say, a car from a dealership and you're paying, let's say, 30% interest rate. Being your own bank, you're paying probably 4 or 5% on that money. Okay, so let me explain what I meant by being your own bank. So let's say, and this is why owning a property and owning multiple properties and building a real estate portfolio is always going to be the key to generational wealth, because you're building assets as your liabilities are being paid off, right? So this is what I mean by that. Let's say you purchase your first property. Now, let's say you purchase your property. In this market right now, the price is a little high. People are buying over asking price. So this may not be the right time to start the process of being your own bank, but it's still the right time to own a home. Let me say that again. It's the right time to own a home, but it may not be the right time to start the process of becoming your own bank. However, once all the cloud clears, all the smoke clears, you can start that process because you already have a property. So if you're thinking about buying a property, or you're contemplating, if you do it, the prices are high, the rates are high, listen, just buy the property. Don't worry about the rates. Especially if you're buying a property like a 2-family home where you can rent a floor and you live on one floor, so that rent is helping you pay for your mortgage. Or you're renting the basement and one of the floors and you live on one floor. However you slice and dice the pie, you have a property that you're starting to build equity in. So now this is how it works. So let's say you bought a property. Let's say you bought a 2-family house. You bought it in this current times, this current market, this current rate, and you have a rental. You have a tenant renting the top floor, the tenant renting the basement. You're living for free. You're paying your mortgage. You're saving money, and the house is building equity. Let's say the house has to get 20% equity and build 20% equity, right? So let's say you buy the house in 2023. Let's say in 2025, you've gained 20% equity. You bought the house for $400,000. Let's say you have $150,000 worth of equity in that property. Now, again, let me make a disclaimer. These numbers I'm making up. They're not factual numbers. I'm just giving you an example. So don't take these numbers to heart. Just making these numbers up. So now you have $150,000 worth of equity. Let's say you're making some money extra. You're making a profit off of the rentals, right? So let's say after you pay all your mortgage, tax, the expense, you're making a profit of like maybe $800. You're pocketing that from you living on the same floor. You're living on one floor, renting the basement and the other floor out. So, or this could be a duplex also. You buy a duplex. I know down south there's a lot of duplexes. There's not a lot of 2-family homes. A lot of duplex. So let's say you have that property. You have the $150,000 equity in it. Most banks will give you 80%, or you could do a HELOC against the property. I like HELOCs because it's like an open line of credit. As you pay it off, you put it back. It's accessible to you at all times, right? Equity, you use it once. You don't have access to it anymore. Your mortgage goes up. Your monthly payments are reassessed. Those are the things that come with equity, right? However, let's say you have a HELOC, and let's say you take a HELOC out in the house, they give you $100,000. Let's say you want to buy a car, and the HELOC rate is, let's say, 5%. By the way, because of the current mortgage rates, HELOCs are being done by credit unions, so you want to shop around for the best rate, and of course, credit is going to drive that rate. So let's say you get a HELOC for $100,000. And let's say you want to buy a car, and the car is $40,000, but you go to the bank, and the bank is giving you 9% interest. I would use that HELOC, buy the car, pay the HELOC back at a cheaper rate. Now you pay the HELOC back because you're making a little bit of money profit off of the rental. So the rental profit you're making, you can take that and put it towards the car payment. So say now you build that up after 4 or 5 years. Let's say you pay the car off, or let's say you don't buy the car, You take the $100,000, you go down south or the Midwest, you buy another rental property with it. Let's say the property is $50,000. You buy that cash, you rent it out. Now you pay back your HELOC at a lower rate than you were paying a mortgage for 7%. So now you have two properties. And the third year, the property gains equity. You have equity in that. You do another HELOC on that. Then you buy another property. So you're buying properties on top of properties on top of properties off of the first property, and you have your tenants that are paying the rent. You're making a profit that's paying those HELOCs back for you. So now, let's say you get up to 5 properties, and you have $700,000 worth of equity combined. You go get a HELOC for about, let's say, $500,000, 200 from one, 200 from the other, 100 from the other, however you spread it out. Now you have $500,000 that you're your own bank. You could use it at a lower rate. So this is what I meant when I say you could be your own bank by building a real estate portfolio. The property goes up in value. You have an option to do a HELOC at a lower rate than taking a loan out or buying a house at a higher rate of mortgage rate. So that's why I say that you could be your own bank by owning real estate. It's all how you set up the portfolio. And this is something I spoke about at the Discover Your Why event last week that we had. A lot of people had homes, and I'm my own bank. I showed people how I do it. I've showed people the assets, how it's being paid, and they all wanted to know how it's done. It's done through real estate and having a real estate portfolio. So if you have any questions about this topic or a comment, drop it below and I'll try to answer it for you. But this is what I meant, that everyone should shoot for that goal of being your own bank. Because at the rate things are going right now, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. But what are you going to open that's not, what kind of business are you going to open that's not already open? How are you going to compete with other people's prices, your competitors? But real estate, you're always going to have renters. Property always goes up. People always need a place to live. As the Northeast gets expensive and the Midwest is still a little cheaper, people are moving that way now. So you're always going to have people moving that way to rent because they can't afford to move down south, move to Atlanta, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever it may be. But they can move Midwest and there's still jobs there. Like Amazon are putting up warehouses all over. Walmart, whatever they do, there's still going to be some sort of income they can get in those Midwest, because obviously everyone is migrating to different places. Population is going up. They need supply and demands. They need products. Jobs are being created. So this is what I meant by being your own bank, right? So if you guys have any questions, drop a comment and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.